Okay, so we can start. So today we are going to see classes in JavaScript, how we create class, what are that we do inheritance, how we override private private variable, static method. So whatever we can, that we will go through. Okay. Now, so yesterday we completed promise, right? Yeah. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so when we say class, so now everyone is almost related to Angular. So we are familiar with the class because in Angular while working, we use TypeScript. So either it is our component, service, right? Previously used to model, right? Interceptor, everything, it used to be a class. Now we got some arrow function like in guard or interceptor, but previously everything was class, right? So we are little bit familiar with classes from the TypeScript. Now, same thing, how we do how we create class in JavaScript. Okay, I'm not sure, but I think we got classes from Angular, sorry, ES6, ES6 or ES7. I'm not sure, but ES6 I think. So from ES6 version we got classes. Okay, now we will start with very basic, then we will move ahead. So let's say we want to create a class. So let's say class. I'm going to create a student. So this is the simple class. Now, as we know from either you C, C++, .NET, Java, or even TypeScript, every class will have a constructor. So just like in TypeScript also, we write the constructor. Something like similar, we have constructor over here also. Okay. Now, how do you declare a variable? When you declare a variable in our Angular, we declare variable colon data type. So in JavaScript, we don't have that data type providing, right? We cannot strongly type any variable, right? So in JavaScript classes, how do we declare a variable or how do we create variable inside this class? So those are like by using this operator. So first, our constructor should not be normal. We should be a parameterized constructor. Whenever we are going to invoke this class by new operator, while invoking, we will be passing the parameter. So let's say name, mobile, and inside constructor, we write this dot student name is equal to, I'm assigning name over here. Then this dot mobile number is equal to mobile. Fine. So this is how you create a variable inside the class. So this will point to your particular class where you are writing, right? In our TypeScript also same behavior we have. Now in this class, I need to create a method. So print details. Okay. Now here we will just simply write console.log template literal name colon this dot, just how we access in our TypeScript also. By using this, you will access the variable you declare over here. Then what is it? Mobile. So this dot mobile number. So this is your basic class. This is how we create a class. Fine. Now, how do we invoke this class? How do we create an object of this class? Just okay. So this is we have created class. In this class, we have created two variable and a method. Now, constant, let's say Chetan stud is equal to new. By using new operator, we invoke our class. In TypeScript also, we do the same thing, but little bit different. Okay. So new, what we are going to, of what class we are going to create an object? Student. So new student. Now, once you give the round parenthesis, you can see it is suggesting like this needs two parameter, name and the mobile number. So how many parameter you pass over here that it will suggest. So now it needs, we have to send it. So it's like we are creating an object or instance of this particular class. We can create multiple instances also. Okay, we will see that. Let's say Chetan name I'm passing, then mobile number I'm passing 99889999 something. Okay. So by this, what we have done, we have created instance of this student class. Now, in this variable, we have stored the instance. So Chetan student dot, I can use this method. So what it will does, it will invoke this function method, whatever we have created inside this class. Fine. Let's see. So see, it is printing name, Chetan, mobile, email. So whenever when we invoke our class, we pass some parameter that got stored into our variable. Okay, let's create one more constant. Stud2 is equal to again new student, Rahul, mobile number. So stud2 dot print detail. So see, now for this particular class, we have created two instances of it. Means we have created two objects of it, whatever the word you are familiar with. Either you go with instance or the object. Okay. So you have created two instances of our student class. One is the Chetan student and one is the student two. While Chetan student, we are passing Chetan, and in the stud2, we are passing Rahul. Fine. So see, we got the second also. Okay. So now here is little bit question, like why we write this only? Why can't we use let or constant just like in let's say .NET or Java? We create classes on the, we create variable on the class level, right? Why like this? So this variable, this is pointing to this particular class. Okay. So when you are creating instance of it, this value, this variable, when we write it, we have a feel like this variable, whatever the variable we created, this will point to this particular class. But it's not like that. We are assigning this value to the instance of this class. Okay. So this will point to the instance, whatever the instance you created, that it will point to that. Okay. So constructor, you have to pass a parameter, and when invoke it, whatever the parameter you said, you need to pass it, you create an object and you access the properties like this, whatever the method you create. This is very simple example of our class in JavaScript. By looking at it, it is very easy, right? But when, let's say, you saw this code also, but if someone asks you to write this, then you will feel like we don't know the syntax because we are not used to this, right? So if you are in the interview process, if you are preparing, make sure after every 2-3 days you have a habit of writing everything, whatever from last 4 to 5 days, whatever we are doing now, right? So if you are in the interview phase, make sure you write it everything, because Angular we daily use that, we write it, so we have a confidence on that. But in JavaScript we don't use that, so we might know the concept, but when someone asks you, we might forgot the syntax also. Yesterday, right? Promise, I wanted to create direct promise which can resolve. I was not able to recollect that. Okay. Now, so this is a very simple example. We have created a class. Now we will see inheritance. Let's say we have created a class, product, constructor. Let's say in product, we have name, this dot product name is equal to name. Fine. In this class, I'm creating a method, print product name. Okay. Console.log. Why I'm doing console? Because again, we cannot go very deep. Just we want to understand the concept. That's why I'm keeping it very simple. Product name equal to this dot product name. Fine. This is the class we have created. Let's say in this class we have this variable product name and this method. Now this class I need to inherit in another class. So export class product detail, another class I'm creating. Now I need to inherit this product class into this product detail. So I will use extend keyword product. Okay. Now here is a little bit catch. So this is our parent class. This is our child class. If we have to inherit it, what we do? Extend and the parent class name. Fine. Now in this parent class, we have a variable this dot product name. Let's say if you want to use constructor over here also, in child class also you want to use your constructor and you want to initialize some value. Let's say price, this dot, what do we say? Product price is equal to price. Okay. Now, if your child class also has a constructor and it has some variable into it, So it is mandatory that you have to use super keyword and you need to pass. Let's say you want to provide value to this particular product also, name also. So now here we will have two parameter, name and the price, because we are we are inheriting product class into this. Now we won't be creating instance of product. We will be creating instance of product detail. Okay. So name and the price. So name will go over here and price will be the local variable of this particular deal. And this name, we have to pass it over here so that this name will go over here and this variable will have that value. Okay. Let's create own method of product detail. Print whole product detail. Inside that again console.log. Here I will be using product name is, let's say I can use $.this.product name also I can use. Then price is dollar curly bracket this dot product price. Fine. So see, we have created a product class. We created one more class that we inherited into product. Okay. Product detail has its own variable that is product price. Okay. Since in the child class we are using constructor, so it's mandated that we have to use the super keyword. Okay. If you are not having the constructor, then doesn't matter you use the super keyword or not. Okay. Now, so now when I have to create the object, like basic inheritance you might know from any language, like we inherited product class into over here. So now you won't be creating instance of product. Now you will create an instance of product detail. So constant mobile product is equal to new product detail. Now product detail has two parameters. First the name, let's say Moto A2. Then price, let's say 12,500. Okay. Now you see mobile product dot. I can use the method of product print product name also, which is declared in my parent, and the vary its own method also get product detail. Save. So now see product name Moto A2. This is coming from your parent class. And in the child class, you can see product name also we got and the price also you got. So this is simple inheritance. So we are inheriting product class into our product details. So we are able to use the method or the variable, whatever we have it over here into our inherited class. So this is the same definition you might be knowing from your inheritance, whatever the language you might have learned before Angular, right? So this is how you inherit. Okay. Now the catch I said, when we have to use the super keyword, because this intro question I got asked, so I remember it properly. Okay. So let's say this product, let me comment this, let's create one more. So I will copy paste this for. Now let's say we have this product class. Okay. Now we will create class product SKU, another class I'm creating. Here in this class, I don't have the, what do we say? I don't have its own constructor. I'm not going to use its own constructor. I'm not going to create any variable in this particular extended class. Okay. So now SKU is like something unique every product as when we talk about e-commerce application. Now inside this, I just have a method print product and we will what we can do. Let's try print product of console.log. What we are going, sorry, extend we forgot. Extend our product class over here and over here name colon, we will access this dot product name and vary of let's say we want to create some random numbers. So I will use constant nick id is equal to math. So we use that math dot random. Will give, right? Let's try. And SKU is this. Okay. So now here we extended product class, but this particular class doesn't have any its own variable. Means we don't have any constructor also. So now there is no need to inject super keyword over here. Okay. Now constant camera is equal to new product SKU camera. Now camera dot, what's the method name? Print product. This I'm using. Save. So see, name camera we got and SKU some random number it has given. So now, as I said, when you need to use super, if you are the child class has its own constructor, then only that super keyword is mandatory. Otherwise, it is not mandatory. Clear? So this is the intro question. They will definitely ask if someone start with the classes, they will definitely ask this question. Because if you're not tried like this, you won't be pretty sure like what they might provide you the snippets, what it will work. If you have a constructor over here and if you are not using super, it will break. Some error we get. So that's what they look for, like program will run properly or do we run into exception. So if you have a child class constructor also, so it's mandatory that you have to use super keyword. Okay. So this is inheritance. Now, since we are over here, like when we talk about inheritance, obviously we get a question like how, let's say this print product name method is over here. How I override this method over here, right? So I can use the same name over here. This is like we are overriding this method with this name. Means what? In this parent function, we had console.log and the product name. But I am providing some different definition over here. Okay. So let's save and check. Print product name. So see, it is working. But let's say if I remove this from over here. Okay. I don't have I didn't override any method over here. So this will point to your parent class. See, it is printing the product name only. Means it is pointing to this. So this is simple override thing. How we override method in the child class. So if child class has the same name, whatever the name we have it over here, so it is like it will consider this. If we don't have the same name and if we are trying to get an access of the same method, so it will point to this. This is in what do we say, overriding in the overriding any method in the child class. Clear? Okay. Next is some private variable is there. Again, this is not so important, but if you are preparing, don't leave anything because we cannot say someone can ask anything. It's like when you are in the interview, if you ask one question, he will ask second, again, he will keep on going on still the time you are not stuck anywhere, right? Any topic, let's say if someone start promise, if you answer promise definition correctly, he will go to next question. Again, you answer, again, he will try one more. Just he also check your level, like what up to what level you know that particular topic. Right? So if you are preparing class, make sure whatever you have in JavaScript, you are aware about it. Not in detail, but at least you know something. Not every time is required that you will be able to write it everything. But even if you explain it, that is also fine. Because he also know that we don't use this in Angular. So knowing theory is a one part and having actually hands-on is another thing, right? Now, so in class, we have something like private variable. Class, let's say employee. So let's say in the employee class, you need to create a variable which is private. You don't want that variable to be exposed outside. That oops feature we say na encapsulation. So having something inside your class that you cannot expose it to outside world. Also forgot that theoretical part, but some similar to like that. So we have to create a private variable, just like in TypeScript also, we declare variable private. So that variable we cannot use in its own HTML also. If it is public, then only we can use it in the component HTML, right? So how do you create a private variable? So by adding a hash over here, let's say emp id, then constructor round bracket id and name. So this dot hash id is equal to id I'm storing. Then this dot, what do we have? Name, emp name is equal to name. Print details. Console.log id is this dot hash emp id. Name is this dot emp name. Fine. This will work fine. Let's create it also. Constant emp1 is equal to new employee. Let's say 111, comma, name something we are passing, Sachin. Now emp1 dot print detail. Save. So it is working fine also. ID we are able to access, the image also we are able to access. But as said, this is a private variable. Now you are passing a value and that you are storing over here. And you are accessing inside this function only. It's not you are exposing that variable outside. Okay. Let's say you pass this ID and inside this class, with this ID, you are doing some operation. Again, you are creating something new value. Okay. Means by using some random value and whatever the ID you pass, it is doing some operation and creating random value. Let's say we create a function get emp id and we want to return this particular ID. Okay. So now what we are doing, we are trying to expose our whatever the value this private variable has, we are trying to expose it. Okay. Now let's try to access this method. emp1 should not allow. Let's see. Okay. So let's print it out also. By default, we said return. So it should print something, right? But it is not printing something. But let's say instead of emp name, I said ID, I said emp name. Wait, something is wrong. Oh, we didn't write the console. Console. No. Okay. We got value over here. Let's try to use hash emp id over here. See. No, this error we should not get. No? No, wait. How we are able to access? We are trying to return the private variable. How is this printing? Um, Anyone knows? Anyone have tried like this? You can unmute. Anyone knows? Anyone have tried this private variable?
No, sir.
How it works? I got this error means snippet. Someone asked me. I said like we won't be able to access it. He said, "Oh, yeah, correct." Why he said correct? I have tried to crack it. Anyone?
Sir, in Angular, we have a different meaning of private and over here is different.
There, there it is different. Let's try
Over
to
there is
directly
just like we cannot access in the HTML, right? If we create a
Yeah.
private.
There it is like that. Okay, like this, I think. So see, if we are trying to use emp dot, we are getting emp name. Function also we are able to get, but that private variable we are not able to see over here. So might be it is like that, that you cannot access that particular private variable. See, emp name is coming over here, but emp ID is not coming. So it might be like that, that you cannot access that private variable directly on the instance, because this variable is on the class level only. So you cannot access this variable directly. On the instance, I think you can access, because I mean, here also we are returning the value. But here we are trying to access that directly variable value. EMP name is coming, but EMP ID is not coming. Might be like this. Again, I need to
But
check
that,
also.
but 95 lines should work, right? Because we are returning the
Yeah, we are
value.
returning it. So it's not like we are directly accessing it.
It should work.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
EMP
Sir,
ID
I
just like
think we need to write a semicolon after line number 78.
No, semicolon doesn't matter. Semicolon doesn't matter. Here you are saying it won't matter.
Yes.
Semicolon doesn't matter, no, in JavaScript. Either you write it or not. See, it's like, see, I'm able to access, let's print this. Console.log. Okay, I should be able to access the value. Sachin, I'm able to get it. But if I tried the same like with EMP ID, I should not be able to access, because this is private variable of this class. So it won't be accessible outside the class, even on the instant itself. Hash. So here only we are getting, because it's okay. See, here we got the error. EMP ID is not accessible outside the class, because it is a private identifier. Understood
Correct.
now?
Yes.
I forgot that he might have written like this. So we are returning it. So it's
Sir,
not like we are directly allowing to access this variable. We are returning the value, just like over here we printed it, right? Here we are returning it, but it's like directly we are trying to access the variable. So this is not allowed outside the class.
By default, it is private or how?
With private variable means you just declare hash over here. That's private variable.
Okay.
Okay, it's not like in TypeScript we write private, public, nothing access
Yeah.
specified like that.
I think EMP ID must be just like a declare as a private cruiser, right?
Yeah.
Cruiser client. Yeah. So I think this is a error for in console.
I have one doubt.
Hmm.
So if we wrapped it the private variable with method, then we can able to access it. And
Access
if
it
we call directly,
directly, right?
then we won't get it.
Okay.
Okay.
So why we are
Hmm.
not getting the result of 95 number line? Then it's we are not directly accessing it, but it's just a
No,
return.
No, 95 we are
it is a
getting.
wrapped it with method. So we have access of both the variables, whether it's
95
like
we are
private.
getting value. See,
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
this is getting
Sorry.
95,
Before
we can get a 95, but we cannot get a
Access.
in 96
Yeah,
line,
yeah.
because this
So
is
this
declared
is
as
a
a
private
closer.
variable. So we cannot access outside the class by directly means not on the means whatever the instance we created, we cannot access the private variable directly. Okay. Inside your class, you have some function there you are using it. It's fine, because you are using this private variable inside the class. So there you can use it. Either you are returning it or printing, using it into another function. It's okay. But this variable, you cannot access it outside the class. That's simple. Okay. Clear?
Can we also check with private method?
Private method we can create. Not sure. Let's try. But how do we hash?
I'm not sure. I'm just asking.
No, I also don't know.
There is
Private method.
and there is a one more catch is there. If we like assign his before the get EMP ID, so we won't get both the variables. If we assign his uh, on the first method where we
Okay.
returning this EMP
So
ID,
method is also behaving like that.
it is, yeah.
So either it is a variable or a function, it will be like private. So method also you declare with hash starting. That becomes private variable, private method of this particular class. You are not able to access it. Same error we got.
Sir, for
Okay.
declaring a variable, we mostly use const, var, or let. So
Yeah.
why where it's not needed?
See, that's what I said. Anna. You are creating variable over here, and this will point to your particular class. Okay. Now, when you write this and you create an instance of this particular class, so you are not actually using the variable inside the class. You are actually using the instance. On the instance level, every instance, different instance will have different this. Because this will point to the particular class. Const and let and var won't work like that. Na? This is the only way which will point where your code is there, right? So that's why we have to create a variable with this only, because it's not you are creating value assigning on that class. It's on the instance you create here, EMP1, not on the class you are directly assigning the variable. Means you created, but the value you are assigning to the instance object of it. So this will, when you write this will go to the object, not on the class. That's why this.
Means in this word is represent to EMP1.
EMP1, instance of this particular class.
Okay.
This
Same
is
like
the
one.
variable.
If I have one small question,
Mhm.
can I discuss by comparing in
Right.
Angular over here or not? Might be other will be confused.
I need
Yeah,
to
man,
more.
you can,
Karan, can you repeat after? Can you ask this afterward? Let me complete static one.
Sure.
Okay. Now, in C#, we used to have static method, static classes. I don't know, like who are from the .NET background. So in .NET, we used to create static method, means method which used to work on any data type. There we used to have that way. But in JavaScript also inside a class, we can create a static method. Okay. Create class, math, operation. Okay. Inside this, I want to create a method. Let's say add, and it will have two parameters, num1, comma num2. Here return num1 plus num2. Okay. Now we will create object of it. Constant math is equal to new operator. Okay. Now math dot add, and I can pass some value. So dot log. Okay. Start to print it. Add is not a function. Why? Sorry. Math dot add no. Okay. So we got 12. This is working because we in this class we created a function having some parameter. We created object. On the object, we are able to access this method. Okay. Now, this how do we access that? Directly, if we try to access with class name, math operation dot, let's add it in console.log. Directly, I'm accessing class and the method. Okay. Let's say 5, 5, 6. Let's see if it prints. Math operation dot add is not a function. How do we do that? Math operation, we cannot directly do add. Let's try static first. Static. Let's comment this and we see we are able to access the. Okay. So see, with the instance, we were able to access this method. Okay. On the instance of this math, we were able to access this method previously. Let's remove this one more time. Now we are able to access the method. Okay. But if I make this method static by just adding a static keyword, after that it is not able to, means it's not understanding this add is a function or not. Means this particular method is only limited to this particular class. But my question was like, directly on the instance we are not able to access it, but on the class itself we should be able to access it. It's not working over here. Okay, so earlier issue, like we had this line was breaking, this was working fine. So see now, when you create a normal method on inside a class, so on the instance you can access that method. Okay, but if you create a static method inside a class, you cannot use that static method on the instance of the class. Directly on the class level you can access it. Getting it? Previously this line was also there, we didn't comment it, that's why it was breaking over here. So if it's a static method, directly on the class we can access it, but on the instance we cannot access the private static method. Clear? So this is one more thing. Okay, result is different, mean 5 plus 6, it is printing. Why it is printing 12? Why it is printing 12? Because here we write num1 num2, we didn't use num1, that's why. 11. Okay, clear? So this is the static method. One more quick topic is there, getter setter. Okay, example class, let's say e-com product. Okay, in e-com product we have constructor. Let's say we have name and SKU. So this dot product name is equal to name. This dot SKU is equal to SKU. So we created two variable, that is product name and SKU. Okay. Now while working with TypeScript also in Angular also, we have get and the set method. If you have used it or not, I'm not sure. But on the input also we can use getter and setter, and on the set method now normally we don't write in the component, but normally we use get method. But on the input you can use get and set method. Let's say if the input value got changed, you need to, whatever the value you get, you need to perform something on it. Means once the value change, you need to write some code onto it. So there we use getter and the setter for the input. Reusable component I'm talking. Okay. Similar to that, or in the component also, we create get method. It's like a function, but it acts as a property. Okay. Now, similar to that, in JavaScript also, we have getter and the setter method. So in this variable, we have, what do we say, product name and the SKU. Now, getter and setter will be like, we can create another, what do we say, another example. Like creating one more property which is not there. Let's get product name, product name. Okay. Then we set same name. Okay, getter and setter name should be same only. Set access are not most okay. Parameter we will have. So let's say name. Let's see. One or two. One only. Cannot have two parameter. Okay. So what we need to do here, we will return, get method is just to return some value. So we will use this dot product name we will return, and over here this dot product name is equal to name we will pass. Okay. Now we created getter and the setter method for this product name. Okay. State object file new form product. Right. Okay. Now we have created instance of this particular class. Now, if we say mobile dot product name, it's equal to, but name are same. This is also same. Let's say product detail we will say. So again, it will be confusing. Same name we are using. Okay. So this dot product detail is equal to Apple. Let's try to print it also now. Console dot log mobile dot same property name. See the output first. Yeah, we got the apple. Okay. So see how it is behaving like. To update the variable value of this product name, you have created two methods, get and the set. To read the variable value, you are using this method. Both the name will have both the function. These are like a function, but it will act as like a property. Okay. So to read the product name, you will be accessing this. So you can see get product detail. We didn't invoke it, but we are accessing it like a property. We are simply returning this value. So this is like it looks like a function, but it's a property, getter and setter. Okay, so those who are from .NET or Java background, those know when we create model, we write getter and setter. Similar to this, after every property, we write getter and setter. So similar to that, it might be working over here. Okay, so for this product name, we have this method, and if we have to set the product name, we have this set method, because while setting, we are passing the value. So this value, you will get it over here, and you are storing it into your variable. So this is getter and the setter. I remember like he asked me something with the spread operator here instead of initiating like this. Not recalling that. But the basic way is like this. So I know from the C#, so I can relate like that. Okay. So getter and setter, like we create a class for every property, we write getter and setter, so that get property will be able to read the data and set is to update the particular property value. Similarly over here also, we created two method, getter and the setter for product name. So if we use this as a property, it will print the value. And if we use equal to, so whatever the value you pass, it will be accepted over here as a parameter, and that you are setting to your variable. Okay. I'm not sure if everyone is able to understand, but this is it. Clear? Anyone?
I have a small question.
Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
this dot product name looks like it's similar to product detail, right? If
See,
we access that property and that property, the output will be the same.
Right.
So what's the difference? Why we are using get and setter?
Instead of let's say you created instance of this class. Okay. While making the instance, you set the value mobile. Now you want to change the variable value. So you have created getter and the setter method to deal with this particular variable. To read the value, you will be using this get method, and to update this variable value, you are using setter method. It's just a wrapper to use to interact with that particular variable. Similar thing we have in .NET and C# and Java. So,
but
I don't know.
My question is, without get and set, we can also change the product name value, right? If we create with new, then we can do.
Let's see. Okay, still we are able to do that. But why? Okay, let's try. Let's add a get method. And let's not add the set method. Okay, let's see. Okay, now you see what we did. We created get method. Okay, and if set method is not there, you won't be able to change it. Getting it? But directly you can access. Your point is correct. Like on the instance only, you can directly set the value also, and you can directly get the value also and the set the value also. But as I said, like one more way they have provided might be it has practical use. I don't know. But you understood like the same thing, whatever you were doing, same thing we can do by using getter and setter. The meaning itself of getter and setter is like you can change the variable value and you can access the variable value also. Okay. But if you are
Even over
writing
here
it,
in 132 line, we can also
Hmm.
change the value of product
Now-
name, mobile dot product name is equal to Apple,
now not happening.
rather than setting using the
Now
setter
not
method.
Now not happening. That's what I said. Now, if you write the get method, this won't work. See, we
Okay,
have this
okay,
line, but
okay.
still it will print Moto Mobile only. If you have written the get method, set method won't. If
Should
you
be there.
right, not to be there. This won't work. You cannot directly change the variable value now. To change the value, you need the set method also. If the get method is not there, directly you can do that. But if the get method is
Means
there,
means the
and to
the variable which we declared with the get should have a set in order to change the value.
change, right?
Otherwise, we can
So, you're correct.
yeah, I got it. Otherwise, we can also use without getter and setter,
Without
right?
also. But
Without
there
also.
might be proper something might be there.
But
That's
I
why they
just
might have
want to know the
provided.
difference, why there should be slight difference, why we are
Must be
using
something.
getter and
Must
setter.
be something. But I also didn't gone into that much deep.
Sir,
Okay.
can I tell my view on his question, sir?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, what I understood by his question is, so when you have two ways, okay, what is the use of this writing
What is the
getter
use of
setter method?
right?
That is his question.
Right.
See, what I know about this JavaScript is basically it's not a complete object-oriented programming language, right, sir?
Correct.
So in any object-oriented programming language, we have a concept called data hiding and encapsulation, elementary things. But
Right.
in other programming languages like Java or C#, they're strictly object-oriented programming language. We
Correct.
can't use right away the properties in outside of the class.
Right.
If
By
you mark
using
it as if
Hmm.
you mark it as a private. And
Correct.
anyway, however, if we make them with public, it is a violation of data hiding concept. That is why they introduced the encapsulation. If any, any private members are there, in order to use them, they're providing these setter getters.
Getter.
Okay. The
Right. So
same
that I know from model. We
the
write that.
same practice is also followed by the many developers in JavaScript, what I believe. It's not that
Might be.
mandatory that you should have setter getters. But the reason is it's maybe a coding standard or it's a best practices that was incorporated by other object-oriented programming languages.
Correct.
What I don't know, sir. You please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I also don't know because just for preparing the topic, I have done this.
Yes, sir. That's my view. I don't know if anyone can correct me. Even I'll be happy.
Shashi didn't join today. He might have the best answer. He didn't join today.
Okay, sir. Thank you for giving an opportunity, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I will look into it. Like maybe
Just
once.
look into it. Might be something. They won't be providing it if it is same thing we can do with the instance also and get a setup. There might be something. Okay, just find it out.
Sir, can I add one point to this?
Yeah.
I
Alright.
guess we can also provide read access to the code so the users will not be able to modify the values.
Instead of directly accessing the variable, you are accessing
Just
way
using
around
get,
Yeah.
just using get and setter.
Right.
We are just giving the read access so that they don't mess
Right.
up with the code or they don't access the details. There. Yeah.
Might be that way also is there. That might be one of the reasons. But this is we are thinking. practically. it
But I
might be
saw in
something
my
else.
previous project, like they were using one read only in .NET.
Yeah, access modifiers, nothing but we call in TypeScript, right? We
Yes.
just mentioned read only before that one, so you can't.
Change it.
Yeah.
Still, I haven't used read only in Angular.
We not using in
We,
Angular.
we don't have read only here, sir. In JavaScript, we don't have
No,
such
in-
keyword.
No, in TypeScript we have, na?
On TypeScript,
Yeah,
we-
TypeScript we
Yeah,
use.
TypeScript
Yes.
we have, but I didn't use that till. That's
Oh,
all.
we use a lot actually, and this getter setters also we use a lot. Like
Get I use when we need the instance of our reactive form, any particular control. There only I have used get. That's it.
like our product is complete complex actually.
Yeah,
They
so
wrote very
you
very
need a
legacy
project like
code.
that. You need a project
Mm.
like that. Then only you get to explore so many
Eh,
things.
Sir,
mm.
I think what I think of this get setter is more is used in the backend languages like Java and
Backend we
.NET.
have it so much. Same kind of behavior might be over here, or something else different might be there. I will also find out. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So this is everything what we should know from class. Normal class, how we inherit, what's the use of super keyword, how do we override the method, right? This private keyword and static, and what do we saw? This getter and the setter. Again, some might be there, but at least this much thing you should be aware whenever, because in the interview when they start asking about class, so they might ask one or two things or three or four things also related to class. So almost everything basic is covered over here, even though we should not be that much aware, because in Angular we don't use these things, right? But they might ask. At least this thing you should be aware. Okay. Fine. Anyone having quick doubt?
Yeah, sir. Need
Yeah,
some guidance on this TCS interview. Anyone given? I need some
guys,
Angular
anyone have given
developer
TCS?
was TCS senior developer.
Again, like Vinky, it cannot be if anyone have given it also, na, it might be different person, it
No,
might
no,
be
sir.
different
Like,
project,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Every project, like let's say in your project, you are heavily using reactive form. So you won't be asking anything else. You will be focusing on the reactive form only. Right?
Yeah.
It
Not
is
like
based
that.
on project.
Just some, yeah,
Right.
just for some.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.